All right, we're going to start a new series here. It's called Pick a Topic. Got a little magic bag of vlog topics that come to mind, and I never do. And let's see. Best places for Mexican food. Where did all the women go? Dynaplug, throw it in the garbage. How to use buyer reviews, the new snake oil. Let's go with the end of the V-Strom 1000. Well, if anybody has looked at the Suzuki Motor Company website and looked at the 2020 lineup, there is no V-Strom 1000 in any type of configuration that they've offered in the last few years. Oh, by the way, we're chortling through the little hamlet of Wickenburg, Arizona. Anywho, the mysterious, unannounced absence of this venerable motorcycle, which took an absence, was developed, and actually the first V-Strom developed for 2002 year model, and was manufactured until 2009 or 2010, I forget what it was. It took a short leave of absence, and returned in 2012 with the Generation 1 platform still in place with all of its quirks, giggles, and wiggles. And I purchased it 2012, was very happy with it. If you understand what it's designed for, and if you're going to push it beyond its limitations of design, you know what you're in for. And then in 2013, I believe, was the first year model of the Gen 2. Now, through that whole period, most of the development money went into its, I guess, its bigger seller, the V-Strom 650, V-Strom, whatever you want to call it. And that actually went through a few generations, at least stylistically. So, to focus on the topic, my assumption is that the 1000 is finally going to go away permanently. Now, in this day and age of bike hype, where when a new model or redesign comes out, there's rumor mills and things that are pushed out through the media, a la the African Twin, the KTM 790, little drips and drabbles of these new models, and the 710 array. And the new process when you have one of these models coming out is to build hype, put a limited quantity out, drive a incessant, almost fervorous demand for a motorcycle, and then put your product out in full gear. So I do not see that happening with the Suzuki V-Strom. It actually went away very quietly. It does have a pretty good niche, if you will, following. However, it's not as big as the KLR or even its younger sibling or smaller sibling. And without any rumor mill of new models coming out, I would assume we have seen the last year model of a V-Strom 1000. Now, if this is in fact the case, then there's not going to be a 2020 or 2021 or 2022. I wouldn't see them pulling a model off the market for more than 1 or 2 years if they're going to advance a new design. And I don't even see any rumor mill of Suzuki putting out a completely new bike that would compete in any size adventure bike market, or even dual sport. And I think the lackadaisical interest in the V-Strom is mostly Suzuki's fault. They had a power plant that was not unlike the KTM V-twin setup. I mean, same configuration. And I really even think that maybe with a little different tuning, they would not have had to redevelop the motor as it was. I think of an adventure bike with 100 cc's, or 100 horsepower and 70-80 foot-pounds of torque is a really good place to be for an adventure bike. And they had that. The only thing, I mean, what they did not do was develop a better suspension. It went for a from 2002 to 2012 with standard upright forks that were undersprung, underdampened. And then when they developed the Gen 2 V-Strom 1000, it was kind of a, let's splash some adventure bike stuff that looks like adventure bike stuff and not correct any of the real intrinsic issues that keep this away from being a good off-road type of adventure bike. Now, that is mostly market targeting, and I think it was cheaping out by Suzuki on not wanting to dump money into an old design that was still basically selling. Now, I think some really things that could have been addressed in that Gen 2 model, because the 2002 version, the Gen 1 models, were pretty much what you would expect during that time period. And it was really long in the tooth when they redistributed it in 2012. But I think they could have added 2 inches. It has about a 6-inch ground clearance, which is dismal for any type of off-roading. They could have added 2 inches to the ground clearance and put some decent travel suspension on. I think it only had 4 or 5 inches of suspension travel in the rear and maybe 6 in the front, something like that. I mean, it was just really poor for really any type of even gravel road riding. And like I said, I rode that thing, I rode my Gen 1 in a lot of places that people wouldn't take them. And you just got to understand that it's a lot of work. I'm not saying that it's not capable, but it should be a lot easier to ride, and with some better suspension. And I know the Gen 2s had upside down forks, but they really weren't, I mean, they were eons better than the standard forks on the Gen 1s, but they didn't put any real effort into making it off-road compliant. And I really can't imagine, for the price point they were getting, which was not too much different than a full-blown KTM Adventure R or S or whatever you want to call it. So I would think that they could put some dollars into the suspension and put some lift in there. And they never, ever, as far as I know, completely corrected the really wonky fueling issues that the Gen 1 had, and really goes back to the origin of the motor in the TL1000. As far as electronics, I'm not an electronic person. I don't really, that's one of the things I really liked about the V-Strom is it was fuel injected, and that was about it. In the Gen 2 models, they had a very basic package of electronic assistance, which couldn't be turned off, which is really key to being able to be off-road capable. Or like this, it's a pain in the butt, and my Tiger were a pain in the butt because every time you turn the key off, it resets. I'm sure that's a liability thing. However, the ability to turn it off, no matter how laborious it is, really needs to be able to be done to effectively ride in sand and gravel and things like that. So if you're out there and you're looking for a adventure bike that is pretty capable, but you're more of a road-based adventurer, gravel roads, I think there is a glut of Suzuki V-Stroms from 2017, 2018, 2019 still on dealer showroom floors for pretty good dollars, and with them being taken off the market, that would be a pretty good buy. I'm sure you could get those in the sub $10,000 range pretty much out the door any day right at this point. Well, I'm not terribly sad to see it go. I know models come and go. I am disappointed that Suzuki's kind of losing the market share in many different markets. You know, Suzuki's, I'm not fanboy for any particular name brand, but I think Suzuki, to a greater extent than Kawasaki, is letting go of innovation in their product line. You know, the next step up from Suzuki would be Kawasaki, and they've come out with some decent releases. Bringing back the W8, I think, was kind of neat, although I'm not sure that's doing very well at a $10,000 price point. But if you look at Yamaha and Honda, the models that they're coming out using a similar platform across several different types of bikes, which is really what promoted Japanese motor manufacturers through the 70s. They would take a 125cc platform, and you could buy a road bike, a dirt bike, you name it, you could buy it, and it would be the same motor and maybe a little different chassis. But I don't see that innovation coming out from Suzuki, and I really see Suzuki kind of, I hate to say it, but imploding. Hopefully they can get it figured out. Anyway, that's my thoughts. I appreciate you watching. Please comment, subscribe, like, and share. Adios.